This is Crown Land now, Black Sturgeon Lake, north of Thunder Bay, Ontario. Not that long ago, the Ojibwe people made this their home, a place to hunt and fish, to live, love, and die. But today, First Nations descendants all across Canada have become strangers to the land, to their culture, to the proud ancestry that was once theirs. It's June. Northern Ontario is being ravaged by forest fires, and the average temperature is 42 degrees Celsius. A group of 9 Aboriginal men and women are flying in from reserves, cities, and towns on a modern-day odyssey with the Canadian Outward Bound Wilderness School to try to reclaim their heritage and their future. Outward Bound is predominantly a non-native organization that, ironically, has its roots in the British military. This course, called Giwekwiwin, is a Native leadership program.
Giwekwiwin is different in that we work with all Native youth in one group, and we also work with the elders. The elders are a very important part of the program, where they bring the teachings of the Aboriginal community or the Native community to the young people. We've gone out and recruited and trained Native staff to work with the groups, because the Native staff are very, very powerful role models for the youth.
Giwekwiwin is a very old spiritual Ojibwe word, which means coming home. Terry Swan runs the course with 2 other Aboriginal leaders, Ray and Robin. She's worked in the Native community for almost 10 years and knows that for these students, coming home from centuries of European domination will be a difficult journey. This group of strangers will spend the next 7 days living on the land, much as their ancestors did. Here, the wilderness is complete. The sun is fierce, the black flies thick and thirsty. Because of the drought, there's a fire ban, which means no camp or cooking fires. Through all of this, the group will canoe and portage for over 60 kilometers in 4 days. Then they'll plunge into whitewater kayaks and battle 4-foot-high rapids on the Black Sturgeon River. Their final test will be a day spent clambering up 20-meter-high cliffs and rappelling on ropes back to Earth. The days will be long, 14 to 16 hours, and the students are asked to go without cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, or sex for the week.
A lot of what we're going to be learning is about our identity of who we are. Our ancestors lived and hunted off this land for thousands of years. But we're going to see how we can associate with each other in terms of a name and a living object or organism or a living thing on Mother Earth. I'll just use an example. My name is Raymond Katt, and I like fish. You know, and so the reason why I like fish is because how smooth they swim through the water.
I guess I'm going to say eagle, and the only reason I say eagle is because there's a part of me that just really likes to watch and observe. That's why I associate with the eagle.
I myself associate with a fireweed. Do you know what a fireweed is? It's a plant that grows in where I come from. I come from the Gisbast clan, people of the fireweed. So I will associate myself with the fireweed.
My name is
Peter.
My name is Sharon, and I'm going to associate myself as a bird. Yeah, I love birds, and I love birds, like singing. I love singing myself too.
Here in the bush, the students suddenly find themselves going back to basics. Most of their clothes are left behind, and they pack only the essentials: rainwear, sunscreen, a hat, and a lot of bug dope. They'll adopt a Spartan life this week. No cabins, no bathrooms, no beds. Their diet will consist of what seems like endless meals of oatmeal and peanut butter. At night, they'll collapse onto thin foam sleeping pads.
Wait, no, my windbreaker.
The group is still missing Joel and Agatha, who've been traveling from Davis Inlet on the Labrador coast for 3 days and haven't arrived yet.
The other thing is, how many people have been paddling before? How many people have been paddling before? We got one person, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Peter's never canoed before. Sean went once in high school. For many of the others, it's not at all a natural feeling. With a zig and a zag, they set off. It's a relief to be on the lake, away from the bugs. Already, it's mid-afternoon, and they have a long way to go before their first campsite. But today's a relatively easy day, and they don't know about tomorrow's portage yet. The days on the water are long and hot. The life jackets make the heat almost unbearable. By noon on the second day, they're sunburned and ready for a break. But first, they have to make it through this portage. In the 40-degree plus heat, they unload all of their gear and haul it, with the waterlogged canoes, through 800 meters of bugs and bog. The water here isn't drinkable, and they run out. By the end, some of the group are feeling the effects of dehydration. Sean especially hovers on the edge of heat stroke. But this is just the first of many physical challenges they'll face. Their journey has begun. Parched and exhausted after the portage, the group finally meets up with Joel and Agatha, who wait for them with cold, sweet water.
A zip of it.
When did you leave Davis Inlet?
Friday.
Wow. And today's Monday.
Holy.
These young people have come to Outward Bound from widely different backgrounds, but they share many common experiences. Some are from communities where the family unit has dissolved and traditional values are gone. They can't fit into the non-native world, yet there's nothing for them at home. Others are trying to heal the wounds of a life lived amidst alcoholism, violence, and sexual and substance abuse. They come here seeking strength, role models, and a sign that they do have a future. Sharon's been on her own for 3 years now. She had her first little boy when she was 16. Her mom died 2 years later, and Sharon's been raising her younger brother and sister along with her own son. Alcoholism, drug abuse, and violence have all affected her at one time. Sharon grew up between her mother's reserve in Mistassini, northern Quebec, and her non-native father's home in Quebec City. Less than an hour after she meets up with the group, Agatha runs into her first challenge. She can't swim, but for safety reasons has to prove that she can get around in deep water. She's done some canoeing back home in Davis Inlet, but facing the whitewater will be a whole new experience for her.
Yeah, it's totally cool. To get you some swimming lessons.
Agatha teaches her first language, Inuit, at the school back home. She's come to Outward Bound hoping to work through the loss of her children several years ago in a fire. Peter can't swim either, and isn't getting into the water today, with or without a life jacket. Nobody pushes him. But if he won't swim here, what's he going to do when they come to the rapids? Until yesterday, Peter had never even been in a canoe, and he's terrified of water. When he was a little boy, he fell into the surf and had to be pulled out. Peter's only 18 and grew up on a modern reserve in the Nass Valley in northern BC. He knows his heritage well, but is a stranger to the land.
Joe, you want to point where we are again so everybody can see?
Right here.
Okay. Okay, that's where we are.
But I'm standing right here and Ray's right there.
Okay, we got 3 options tonight of where to camp.
What are the best ones?
Well,
Here. Here's the best one.
Yeah, this is really good.
Maybe over there.
We'll sit good here.
Yeah, look at this.
Well, you guys been there before.
So what does that
so
mean
from
for like,
here to
like
here,
tomorrow?
what
Does that mean we
like?
just travel
Well, we still
farther
got it.
tomorrow?
We have to get up early tomorrow anyway, because we have quite a ways to paddle. It'll take about maybe 6-7 hours to get where we got to go.
Well, just keep going, I guess,
Yeah.
until we all drop dead.
Is that Jay, there's compromise.
After spending almost 12 hours on the water today, the thought of stopping for the night, anywhere, is a blessing. But deciding where to camp is just the beginning. First Nations peoples may have used these lands for thousands of years, but the complexities of tent poles, gas stoves, and toilet paper make modern-day camping a challenge. Some of the group know the bush well. Others, like Sean and Peter, are first-timers. In fact, when Peter signed up for the course, he thought he was going to a conference with elders in a hotel.
There's a myth that all Native people are connected to the land and that we've all have this opportunity to be on the land. That's just not so. There are so many urban Native people that have never had that opportunity to go and connect with the earth.
For Sean, the course is already much tougher than he expected. It's only the end of the second day, and already the portage has pushed him to his physical limits. Growing up in Toronto, he wasn't really aware of his Native heritage until his early adult years. His mother is Ojibwe, and Sean has come here to try to learn a little more about what it means to be Native. After dinner, Marshall escapes the group while he tries to decide what to do. He and Terry have already clashed several times. He feels that she's too much of a dictator. She just wants him to wear a life jacket and stay with the group. He'd leave now if he could, but it's a long walk home. Each new day on the course starts with a sharing circle, a chance for everyone to say whatever they like.
As far as the first thing I said when I woke up this morning is, oh God, I need a cigarette. But I'm doing good now. I feel really good.
I'm just so happy to be here. It's great. Miigwech.
I don't have anything to say, so except my name is Marshall. Everybody knows that, so there you go.
I'd have to say I'm looking forward to this afternoon and listening and meeting with Elder Harvey. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to most.
For Agatha, the circle is all new and intimidating, full of strangers who don't speak her language. She's naturally shy and only manages a few words this morning.
This is my first time in circles and with people.
I'm really grateful to be in this circle, and it's just really good for me right now in my life to be sitting here on the earth and just being outside. I work in the city and I forget what's around me. Get really kind of tunnel visioned in the city. So it's very healing for me to be here.